do you think the solution is? Stepping in. The solution to virtually any question like that is don't let that shit happen in the first place. Okay? No, and it sounds flippant, but it actually is, because quite frankly, if he has really long arms and they get behind my head and I'm just standing here, nothing I do here, look, oh, I'll bend my knees. Hit me again. No, with this. Oh, thank you, right? You can do that all day. Okay? So, but what happens is, as he goes to get behind my head, I turn my body so that my hand stays in front of my body, right? Like we were doing before, right? Instead of letting my hands get behind my body, that sort of thing, I try to get behind my head. And likewise, yeah, so don't let it happen in the first place. And that's really, people want to come up with all sorts of strategies and techniques, like the guy's bigger or smaller, like it makes good magazine articles, right? How to fight a bigger guy, how to shoot a bigger guy. That's pretty good. That's pretty nice. Different topic, different seminar. Probably not speaking in San Francisco. No more free state. You know, how to fight smaller but heavier guys, like as if it's like, yo, you have to change everything. Like you're gonna have time in the street to say, okay, that guy right there is the one who's gonna wait. One's taller, one's shorter.
Later on, could you do guys with mustaches? How to fight guys with mustaches?
No, there's no way I'd beat a guy with a mustache.
No, okay.
Especially if it's like a Ron Jeremy mustache or something like this. Everyone's too old. No, too young for that. Right? Anyways, and just another tidbit here. A lot of stuff like, oh, I did answering the phone, but it didn't work. Yeah, because notice if I'm standing here answering the phone, but I'm not actually doing anything to him, it's kind of meaningless, right? I could be in any great position. I could be in the fight reaction, and he goes to hit me. He can still hit me, all right? The point, you need to be doing something to him. If he does get behind my head and I do answer the phone, I better be doing something to actually affect him, right? But just about any time you're doing answering the phone, you need to basically be, you know, doing something that affects him, either with the answering the phone or with something. Even when I do the fight reaction, again, he's suddenly coming after me or something. Oh shit! Boom! Sorry, don't make you crush your hand. Right? You gotta, you know, it's a split-second thing, and you gotta immediately be going. Not bad. By the way, Steve, one thing that I do with my students, it's not like a be-all, end-all, but it's just kind of a good gauge of progress. If you're just in a class or something, right, and you just suddenly go after them, you can gauge partly their progress, at least at the basic close combat, if they do not step back, they do not go for your arms, but they immediately just put something. They don't have to actually whack you. Sorry. No, it's good, it's good. No, but notice you did step back and you're kind of off balance or whatever. The idea is like if I'm just going along and like one of you is like going for me or something, boom! You notice how I immediately go, just intuitively go forward into it and throw something. Just a good gauge of progress. It's not the be end all, and you know, it's not like you always react like that.
Yeah,
Something sneaks up on me, it might just be a fright reaction, but just being able to attack and make, because like the natural thing that you want to break is if like one of them is suddenly coming at me. It's like moving back, sticking the arms out, or if the fist is already like coming, going for this, if they've done other martial arts. Or like, you know, if he's coming in, I go, right? Okay, anything like that, that's what you're not looking for. Alright, and it's not a value judgment, just like if you have a student, because I have some students who, even after a while, they might still be doing that, and that kind of tells you what you need to work on. So, contact flow, a lot of the time, instead of getting caught up in like, oh, this happened, that happened, what do I do? First of all, if it's already passed, it's impossible to like recreate the exact situation in context. And I'll kind of illustrate this with yet another Tim story. I had one of my first few private lessons with Tim. I got through the first couple intact, more or less. And the whole lesson, we were just nice and relaxed, but he kept just doing dunk. Yeah, oh, nice day, yeah. Right, just back and forth, just perfectly short, straight punch right into the gut. And after like 12 of these, I was like, yeah, what the fuck? Right? And after a few of these, he was like, dunk, right? He was like clapping one to the face. He was like, just to keep a grasp of reality. And I was like, wait a second, Tim. All right, besides John and maybe Al, no one can just like launch straight punches to my middle and get me every time. All right, I could even be having a bad day, and even Al, I'll at least like get out of the way to somehow. Right? John could do all sorts of weird stuff, but you know, he never actually done that to me repeatedly. And Tim said, he had a couple of answers, but anyway, one of his answers was, it's not the actual straight punch, but the 5 or 10 things that happened right before that. that made the difference, right? If I'm just here, yeah, just don't let me hit you. All right? Don't even let it get that far. Move your body. Right? I'll never hit him. Right? Okay? Why am I able to hit him every time? I wasn't especially going faster or harder, and I might have been faster on one of them. But basically, the way Tim explains it, it wasn't the actual punch. I'm not getting hit by the punch. The key was the 5 or 10 things that happened right before that, only half of which I may have even been aware of. Tim has more sensitivity, more subtle body motion, and if we just stay here, perfectly balanced, perfectly ready, I'm probably not going to be able to get in there, right? If your balance goes a little bit that way, I can get in there. If I kind of get you a little out of position there, I can get there, right? If I shift my body this way a little, the whole system, the whole engagement changes, right? So what is the lesson there? First of all, you need to become more and more sensitive to more and more subtle motion and consistently, move anywhere. So if you notice everything he does, watch my legs, anything he does, my whole body, from the feet up, is changing to deal with it, to maintain as best I can, unavailable yet unavoidable. I'm not waiting for him to throw a punch and hope I can block it, right? Again, all these things, I'm changing, even if my eyes are closed, here, hold still. Make the smallest change you can in any part of your body, and don't let me feel it. Like you can twitch your toe, adjust the position of your head, twitch your ear, whatever you're gonna do. Now, not to be all woo, I cannot tell you exactly what you're doing. All I know is that from my training, my body feels like it needs to readjust. Something's changing, and I'm just moving with it to feel safe. Okay? So the point is, again, I can't tell you exactly what he was doing. He might have been chewing on his mouthpiece for all I know, right? But something changed in here that made me adapt. So that's kind of what you're after. And if I'm feeling all those changes and he's not aware of them, obviously I have a big advantage. So if I quote unquote hit him, it's not necessarily the hit itself, it's everything that came before. So hence what we say, don't let it happen in the first place. Let's take a break and we'll come back and do some other stuff. So what do you think?